We're going to start now. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And this is O Passion. I just want to welcome everyone. If I have said good morning, good afternoon, good evening, tonight is O Passion Night, and I just want to share our mission. The mission of this meeting, O Passion, is to ignite passion for humanity, to nurture mindset and leadership, preparing us to fulfill our big, bold, beautiful, and shared dreams. Tonight, today, Dr. Tunishai Ford is going to help us maximize our potential. Dr. T is our coach, and on the World Set, on the World platform, she is a life coach, international transformational speaker, empowerment trainer, teacher of life skills, and she is the author of 4 books. And before I read the 4 books, I just so want to emphasize that she is the editor and chief of an online international magazine called Discovering You magazine. It is free to enroll, and we will give you the link in our chat box for you to sign up. It's free, and you can get it in a soft copy every month. So now the 4 books that she has written as the post, if you have received it for tonight, is I Miss the Hugs, but Not the Hurts. Taking control of your life from the inside out. And the 3rd book is The Spirit in You. The 4th book, this is a comma in your life, not a period. Tonight, she's going to share with us this topic: choose to walk in your purpose by maximizing your potential, part 2. And part 1, she was sharing that with us a few weeks ago, which she will help us with a recap. Dr. T, the platform is yours, the whole night is yours. Thank you for coaching us again tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. Again, you are all of my buddies. I consider you all family, and I welcome you to another exciting Old Passion session with my buddies, Mabel and her team. Thank you so much, Mabel, for allowing me to be here on this platform. And it's good to see all of you again. It really is. It's really good to see all of you. Again, my topic is choosing to walk in your purpose. I want you to digest that for a moment.
Mm,
Choosing, making a conscious choice to walk in your purpose. How? By maximizing your potential. Maximizing your potential involves fully releasing all of your God given gifts, talents, and potential into the world before you die. That should be all of our goals. You want to die empty, used up. This
mm,
means consistently identifying and developing your inner resources, overcoming self imposed limitations and fears, and living a life of purpose to ensure you leave nothing unexpressed or unrealized when you leave this world. So, I'm going to do a recap of what I shared with you all last time. I think it was sometime probably last month that I shared this. I come on the second Thursday of the month, so it's that long ago. So we talked about what does it mean to die empty. Our goal is to die empty. When we go to the grave, there should be an empty shell there. So let's look at what does it mean. What does it mean to die empty? To die empty means to die finished and not premature. And when I use the word premature, I'm not talking about your chronological age. I'm talking about whether or not you fulfilled the calling on your life. A lot of times people leave here prematurely. They may be here, it may be near well into their 50s and 60s, maybe even their 70s. But God may have had a mandate on their lives that they did not fulfill. So it has nothing to do with your age. It has to do with whether or not you fulfilled your purpose. Now, another other part about dying empty, what does it mean? It means to avoid the graveyard wealth. You want to avoid that. What does that mean? I remember sharing with you all that the graveyard is the wealthiest place in the world. Why is that? So many unfulfilled dreams. There are so many people right now on this platform. God has put a book inside of them, and they haven't written it yet. God has put a business inside of them, and they haven't started it. God has given them a mission, and they haven't even thought about it. But God is tugging at your heart. I want you to do this. Only you can do this. Because if you don't do this, that means that the grave is going to take that mandate, that purpose that I have put in you. And you want to avoid that. And that's what it means to die empty. When you avoid the graveyard's mission, that's what you want to do. So now I want to talk about what are the key principles to die empty. There are principles to dying empty. This is what I shared with you all last time. This is a recap. The key principles to dying empty. Number one, you want to identify and release your God given potential. You want to identify them. You have unique talents and gifts. Identify them. What are my unique talents and gifts and abilities that God has given me? You need to identify that. And then when you identify it, then you need to release it. That means to share it. God did not give you the ability to sing or to write or do anything just to hold it on to yourself. It is to be shared with the world. It's to go outside of yourself. So number one, you want to identify and release your God-given potential. Number two, this is so important. Overcome self-imposed limitations. Ouch, ouch, ouch. How many of us are guilty of that? Break through those fears. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, break through those fears, inhibitions, and self-doubt. These are the things that prevent us from maximizing our potential and actually fulfilling what God has called us to do because we walk in those self-imposed limitations. I shared with you all last time. It's like taking a big boulder that's on the side of the road. You're walking on your road. You're walking on this road for purpose, and then you see this big boulder, and then you find a way to take that big boulder and put it in your path. You did that. You deliberately put a big boulder in your path, and therefore you can't go around it, you can't go on top of it, but you moved it in front of yourself. You did that. And oftentimes we live our lives that way. We put self-imposed limitations on ourselves. This is something that many people are guilty of. And I'm pretty sure at some time in our lives, we are all guilty of that. If that's something that you know that you're living with, that's something that you need to get rid of. You need to work on overcoming self-imposed limitations. Number three, if you're taking notes, you want to cultivate and feed your potential. Your potential is like good soil. Nothing can grow unless it's in good soil. Whatever you're planting, it has to be in good soil. That's what your potential is. It produces fruit. When you have good soil, which is your potential, you're going to produce the fruit of it. So make sure that you are cultivating and you're feeding your potential. Number four, please forgive me. Number four, you want to embrace your uniqueness. Embrace your uniqueness. Refuse to be mediocre. God did not make anything mediocre. God did not make anything ordinary. He did not make anything that's irreplaceable. Everybody is special. Everything he created, even down to the ant, even that little brown ant that crawls in your carpet and gets on your nerve, it has a purpose. Believe it or not. Yes, I said that. An ant has a purpose. And I'm pretty sure we've heard parables about the ant. So I don't have to spend time there. But everything has a purpose. You need to embrace what did God call you to do? Who are you? What is your mandate? And understand that you're uniquely made and you're distinctive, you're special, and you're irreplaceable. If you remember anything else I said today, remember that you are irreplaceable. God does not want to use somebody else to do what he's called you to do. You have your mandate. And then last but not least, number five, live with purpose. Live with purpose. Move forward into your destiny by staying focused every day. When you wake up in the morning, like I was telling Mabel, I get between 3 and 5. That's my time I spend with God. And when I miss that time, believe it or not, my whole day just goes awry. I just feel like things are just not gelling for me. I don't feel good. I feel like something is missing. I was talking to Tony the other day. I said, Tony, I missed my prayer time today, and I feel yucky. I don't feel right. Because when you don't check in with headquarters, when you don't check in with the one who's mandated your life and giving you your purpose, how can you truly function? So the very first thing, if you're going to live with purpose, is to check in with the one who gave you the purpose. What are my orders? It's just like an army. When a soldier goes before his captain, what are my orders? That's what you want to do when you wake up and spend time with God. When you start your day, you want to start your day with living out purpose. Everything you do, I don't care how small or how big, should be telling you and taking you towards your purpose. Time is winding up, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe that when I think about Mr. Ash Mafara and what we're doing right now with Victory with Ash, he's right on point. He's right in that place. Because he recognizes that all the people that we had with passive, they were not dreamers. They were just there for the financial part of it. They were not necessarily leaders. They didn't have vision. They just wanted to grab and take. But now he is selecting those people who he knows who want to walk in their purpose. He's selecting people he knows who want to die empty. He's selecting those people who want to contribute something to the world. They want to be world changers. We no longer have 1.4 million. Now we have 70,000 and it's still growing. But even if that is going to cap off at some point because people are going to start like, look, if I'm not for this, I have to get off the wagon. I have to get off the wagon if I'm not truly on point. And I thank God that this is a vision that Mr. Ashman has had. And I'm not just saying that to be saying it. I'm saying it because I recognize what he's doing. I recognize what he's doing. So all of us should be living with purpose. You move forward into your destiny and staying focused on your goals, refiring that passion every single day, whatever that might be. So number 5, live with purpose. And one of the things I talked about last time we spoke was I talked about the enemies. How are we going to live on our purpose and die empty if we continue to entertain the enemies that hinder us from walking in our purpose? And I identified last time 8 areas that are enemies that hinder us from maximizing our potential. So let me do a recap. Number 1, the first one I shared with you all before was disobedience. Disobedience brings into your lives, it takes away from what God is trying to do with your life. We think about Adam and Eve in the garden. They were the first human beings. They were the first human beings that were hindered from walking in God's purpose. They did not live out their purpose. They died that day. They were supposed to live for eternity. But because of disobedience, their lifespan was cut short. And that's what happens with us. When we walk in disobedience, our lifespan is shut off. We don't get a chance to walk in our purpose because we walk in disobedience. Number 2, remember we're doing a recap. Number 2, sin. There's that word, sin. Yes, I said that. You mean, with Dr. T, isn't sin and disobedience the same thing? Although sin and disobedience are very similar, sin is worse. Why? Because remember, Adam and Eve were deceived. They were tricked. They were tricked out of their birthright. They were tricked out of their mandate. But when you sin, you make a deliberate choice to disconnect yourself from God's will. You know right from wrong, but you choose to do things your way. So therefore, you disconnect yourself from your source. You will never become what God wants you to do, to be, and you'll never reach your full potential if you live a life of sin. So that's number 2, sin. Remember, we're doing a recap for those who are taking notes. Number 3 is fear. We talked about the enemies that hinder you from walking in your potential. Number 3 is fear. Fear is dwelling on everything that could possibly go wrong. Instead of you saying to yourself, this could go right, you're living in a falsehood. You're saying falsehood. You're living in a falsehood because you're coming up with things in your mind that haven't even happened yet. And I want to ask you this question. Who told you that? Oftentimes, we put these stumbling blocks in our lives, and we have these fabricated notions in our head, and you have to ask yourself, who told me that? Where did that fear come from? The Word of God tells us that He did not give us a spirit of fear. That's not from God. He gives us love, power, and a sound mind, not fear. But how many of us have not walked into an arena because we were afraid? Not because it posed a threat, what you're trying to do is because in your own mind, you fabricated some story, some scenario that wasn't even true because you haven't lived it out yet. And unfortunately, fear is one of the areas that a lot of people get stuck. They stop right there and they never go any further. And that is truly an enemy of maximizing your potential and dying empty. So, number three is fear. Number four, discouragement. How many of you have ever felt discouraged? Discouragement. Discouragement comes when you make an attempt to do something. You're good at what you do. You make an effort to do it, but because it doesn't happen the way you want it to, or how you want it to, then you want to fall off. You want to fall off and say, okay, I can't do this. It's not going to happen for me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Discouragement comes from those moments when you feel like you just don't want to go on anymore. But that's not true. When God assigns you a purpose, He gives you the means to accomplish it. And He also puts the timing. Remember, timing. Maybe when you step out to do something, it's not quite time. It doesn't mean that God is denying you. What He's doing is He's setting you up for greatness. He's protecting you from the enemy's plot. So don't get discouraged when something doesn't happen when you want it to, how you want it to. This could be an enemy because if a lot of people get stuck right here, they get discouraged and they no longer try to do what they know God has called them to do. So that's number four, discouragement. Remember, we're doing a recap. Number four. Number five, big enemy, procrastination. Procrastination. When that's the delaying an action until a later time destroys your potential. When you delay an action, put it off. How many times do we do that? Oh, I'll get to it. Well, you're supposed to start writing that book, Dr. T. I'll get to it. Well, you're supposed to start that mission, Tony. I'll get to it. Like, I got to go over here and do this. No, 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 no. Procrastination is an enemy because what happens is you delay it and you get out of God's timing and purpose. But God gives you a mandate and He tells you to move. He means move, not delay, not stop, not wait. He means move. How often do we get ourselves in a tangle where we procrastinate because we're going to put something else in place of what we should be doing? Procrastination will eat away at the core of your motivation. Why? Because you will no longer have a desire to do it. What happens when you procrastinate is that you'll get to a place where you'll have no desire to ever do it. And there are many people who get stuck right there. Procrastination. Remember, we're talking about the enemies of maximizing your potential and dying empty. Number six, if you're taking notes, number six, past failures. Past failures. We are often unwilling to take risk in the present because of failures in the past. Let me repeat that. We are often unwilling to take risk in the present because of failures in the past. Past failure should never be an excuse to stop trying. This is what I always say. It is better to try and fail than to never try again. While you're on this earth, if you don't try, then you don't do. And if you don't do, then why are you taking up space? Why are you here if you make no effort to even try and do what God's called you to do? Because you're living in the past. You're looking at your past failures. How many people do you know who are great right now? People that you may admire. If you read their bio, you'll realize that they didn't succeed right away. Some of them took so many things. Like, for example, look at Thomas Edison. How many times did he try before he got it? Over almost 1,000 times, or 10,000, almost 10,000 times before he actually got it right. And he said, I didn't fail. I just found those many times that it didn't work. That's all. And that should be your attitude. You're not a failure. You just discovered different ways that it did not work. That means that you learned something. You won't go down that path again. So don't allow past failures to become an enemy that hinders you from maximizing your potential. Always remember that. Always remember that. Number seven, we're still doing our recap. Number seven, The opinions of others. Ouch. The opinions of others. Criticism causes us to abandon our dreams, especially when it comes from people that we admire and look up to. We value what they say about us. How many dreams have been aborted because someone you love or thought very much of said to you, "You can't do that. You don't go into that arena. That's not for you. Go over there." How many people are doing things for their parents or because it's something generational? There might be a person who, because they're from a long line of attorneys, their parents or their father expects them to go into law school because I'm an attorney. Your father, your great grandfather was an attorney. Your great grandfather, it goes on and on and on. But that person doesn't want to be an attorney. They desire to be an engineer, or they may desire to be an actor like John. They want to go into a totally different arena. But because of the opinions of others and criticism, they find themselves being miserable. They find themselves doing something that's not in their heart to do. They may be successful at it. They may even get to a place where they make a lot of money doing it. But they die full because they're not fulfilled. How many people get trapped in that? Get caught up in the opinions of other people. That's number 7. And number 8, the last one that I shared with you all last week, number 8 was distractions. That's one of the number one reasons that people fail because of distractions. Distractions come to stop our progress towards a goal or change the speed of the progress. Let me repeat that. Distractions, they come to stop our progress towards a goal or they change the speed of the progress. Other things are thrown in our path to give us to make us we have attention on somewhere else, and God is saying, I don't want your attention over there. How many times do we allow family members to derail us from doing what we're called to do? All the time. You have children who are on the wrong path, or grandchildren who are doing the wrong things, or siblings who are doing the wrong things, and then you're the rescuer. Here you come to the rescue. You got your cape on. Here you are, Superwoman, Superman, coming to save the day. And you have no business even being over there. And what does that do? That hinders you from walking in what God has called you to do because you're so busy dealing with people who decide to make poor choices. And there are other areas that I believe that the enemy uses to distract us. Like I said, number 1 are relationships, toxic and codependent relationships. Number 1. Another factor of a distraction is money issues. When you don't have any money, when you're always broke, and you're going through financially, how can you concentrate on what God called you to do? Only thing you can think about is making money. I got to pay this bill. I got to eat. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And you get focused on the wrong thing. That's a distraction. And the other thing is your health issues. When you don't walk in good health, all your money is going to see doctors. You're in the hospital all the time. You feel sickly all the time. That's serious. Those are distractions. How can God use you when you live in a sickly body? Distractions. That's a very, very serious enemy. And a lot of people get stuck right there. If you ask a person, why aren't you doing this? You're so good at that. You know that's what God called you to do. Oh, I got to go take care of my sick brother. I got to go over there. He smoked all his life. Now he has lung cancer. And I'm not saying don't care about your relatives. I'm not saying don't care about your friends. But look at their lives. A lot of times, people bring these things on themselves. They make choices. They make life choices because they don't want to walk in their purpose, and they don't want you to walk in yours either. So they become a distraction. Money issues. That's why it's so important to understand how money works. That's why it's so important to understand what God thinks about money. There are over 2,000 scriptures in the Bible that deals with finances. That's why it's so important to take care of your temple, to take care of your health. So when God gives you a mandate and tells you to go, you're ready. Every person that God said go to in our Bible, they went. They didn't have health issues. They weren't dealing with relationship issues per se. They were not dealing with money issues. They went. When he said go, they went. And that's when you have to, when God says go, be ready. Be ready to move. Be ready to get out of here. Get ready to go forth and do what God has called you to do. So that's number 8. Now we're going to cover the last 8 that I want to cover today. Now we're going to get into the meat of my conversation. We're talking about the enemies that hinder us from dying empty and maximizing our potential. Number 9. If you're taking notes, number 9. And this one might surprise you. This next one I'm going to share with you today. But number 9, success. Success, Dr. T. Aren't we trying to be successful? Yes. Well, how can success be a limit? How can that be an enemy of dying empty? Let me tell you why. Success can be another enemy of potential because when we complete a task that we did very well in, maybe you got this accolade, maybe you're a person who got this wonderful award, and people are giving you all these accolades, and you feel like you've reached the top. Oftentimes, people get stuck there and they don't achieve to do any more. You should have the mindset to never stay in a particular place. You should have a mindset, leave your accomplishments and go and complete another one. Don't dwell on your previous successes. That's why success can be a hindrance because a lot of times you think you reach a plateau and you don't desire to go any further. As long as you're on this earth, you should always be reaching for further success. You don't stay there. Don't allow one bestseller book to hinder you from writing another one. Don't allow one Academy Award, if that's what you're, or whatever your awards might be, and whatever you're doing, to hinder you from doing something else. Don't allow one degree to say, okay, I got my bachelor's degree. That's as far as I'm going. Keep going. It doesn't have to be a degree. It could be a certificate. It could be some type of training that you need so you can do what God's called you to do. Don't stop learning. Don't stop thriving. Don't stop striving. Don't allow a previous success to hinder you from moving on. Think big. Think outside the box. Move forward. So number 9, success. Number 10, if you're taking notes, tradition. Tradition. Tradition hinders change and growth. Tradition is a powerful enemy of maximizing your potential because you feel like you have to do things the same way all the time. It hinders you from changing. It hinders you from growing. Well, I've always done it that way. It always worked. But now we're in an age of AI. Do you know how many businesses have folded and shut down who've been around for hundreds of years? And because they would not get with the times with technology, social media, things like that, I'm not saying you have to be in love with it. All I'm saying is that if these are the tools that will help you become successful and maintain your success, get with it. But because you're a traditionalist, your mindset is stuck in the past, and therefore it hinders you from growing. Your goal should be to dream big and find new ways to respond and present situations and responsibilities. That should be your goal. Think outside that box. Don't just be stuck in tradition because it could truly be an enemy. There's so many bookstores and different businesses that have been around, like I just stated, but because they did not want to change, they had to fold. They're no longer in businesses. They're no longer in business. So number 10 is tradition. Number 11, this is so important. Number 11, being in the wrong environment. The wrong environment. Many dreams die because they are in the wrong social economic environment and around the wrong people. Your environment plays a vital role in your overall development and accomplishments. Let me say that one again. The environment that you're in plays a vital role in your overall development and accomplishments. You can take a twin, you can take a set of twins, identical twins, and you can separate them at birth. And let's say that God gave each person, the twins, the same musical talent. They have musical talent, very gifted musically. You take one of the twins and raise them in a loving, nurturing home where there's music, and that child thrives. They come up, they grow up to be wonderful musicians, singing, playing instruments, whatever it may be. And you take the other twin and you put that child in an environment where there's a lot of depression, oppression, poverty, lack, abuse. This child has the same gifts and abilities, but it never has an opportunity to thrive because it's in the wrong environment. It's in the wrong environment. And oftentimes, there are people, just like we talk about the ghetto and gang infested and drug infested neighborhoods. There's so many gifted people in those situations, but they'll never thrive because they're in the wrong environment. They're being oppressed. Their talents are being depressed, repressed. They can't go forward because why? It's too much tension. There's too much evil. Too many things coming against them. So they'll never reach their full potential oftentimes unless they make a decision that I'm going to get out of this environment. Have you noticed that even a person who may have an addiction, they cannot thrive unless they leave that place where their addiction is thriving? You do not take a person who's trying to get their sobriety, who's an alcoholic or a drug addict, and put him in a drug infested or alcohol infested environment. They can never overcome that if you continue to put them in that environment. Does that make sense? So number 11, the wrong environment. Number 12, comparison. I was just talking to Queen Tony this morning before we prayed, and I was talking about comparison. Comparison can be very lethal because it produces either discouragement or false pride. How does that happen? Because you're so busy looking at how somebody else is operating, you're looking at their talents and their abilities that you don't appreciate what you have. God has given everyone the abilities that they need to do what He's called them to do. I like to sing. I love singing. I love to be around entertainment. I love music. And I do have a very nice voice. But I don't have the kind of voice that I believe that I'm not trying to put myself down that would take me into a place of stardom or I can be successful in it. It's just that sometimes God gives you major gifts and minor gifts. The major gifts He's going to use to get you out there to be successful, that you make your income, that you have your passion, that's your mission. And your minor gifts are things that you might just enjoy doing as a hobby. Remember that. You have major gifts and you have minor gifts. But don't compare yourself to someone else. You may say, well, oh, I love this singer. Oh, she has a beautiful voice. If I could just sing like her. No, don't desire to sing like her. Desire to do what you can do. But maybe that particular person that you like, that you admire, that they can sing, they may say, I want to write a book, but you're an author. And you've wrote some bestsellers. You're a person that you're an orator. You speak well. People listen. You're an influencer. But that person who likes to sing and has a singing voice, they're not really an influencer. They don't know how to write books. They don't have that inside of them. So stay in your lane. Concentrate on what God has called you to do. Don't look to the left or look to the right. Stay focused. Thrive in what God has called you to do. Thrive in your abilities, your giftings, your calling. And you'll be happy when you find yourself comparing jealousy, envy, bitterness, discord. The list goes on and on and on. Stay out of the arena of comparison. That is one of the most lethal enemies of maximizing your potential and dying empty. Number 13, if you're taking notes, compromising. Compromising. Don't compromise your values. Don't compromise your faith. Don't compromise your code of conduct to appease someone else, to fit in. This happens a lot. A lot of times people will let their guard down, find themselves doing things, being engaged in things that they know it's not in their heart to do, just so they can fit in, just so they can be loved and accepted. I know, for example, the book that I wrote, I Miss the Hugs But Not the Hurts. That's a book about compromising. How women let their guards down and they find themselves in toxic relationships, knowing that that's not where they want to be. And they find themselves settling for less. And that gets into all other arenas that I just mentioned, being distracted. That's a major distract. We talked about relationships. When you compromise your values, when you compromise your faith, when you compromise your code of conduct, you find yourself being in a place where you become a failure. You will never be able to reach your full potential if you're compromising and you stay in that arena. You know who you want, you know where you want to go, you know who you are. No one needs to tell you that. Do not compromise just to be appeasing, to appease someone else. The only one you want to appease is God. The only one that you want to make sure that you're on the right track with is God. You want to check in with him and he wants to tell you what your mandate should be. He's the one who's put the potential in you. He's the one who's giving you the goals that are inside of you. Don't compromise that because when you compromise that, you'll find yourself on the other side and you will not be comfortable there. That is a definite enemy of dying empty and maximizing your potential. Number 14. Number 14. Wrong relationships. There goes that word again. Toxic relationships. When you deal with people who are toxic, they are dream killers. You need to be very, very careful who you allow in your circle, especially your inner circle. There are going to be people who are going to come and go. Let them come and go. There are people that are going to be there for a moment. Maybe they're just passing by. They're going to do what they do. There'll be people who are going to be there maybe a little longer than a moment. It might be a couple of years they may be in your life. And then you're going to have those who are going to be a lifetime. But even still, among those groups, you want to make sure that those people are part of the dream and the vision that God has put in you. If a person is going to lead you away from what you know you've been called to do, that person is not from God. That person is not from God. Let me even say this to those people who are married or those people who are believing God for a mate. Your spouse selection plays a vital role in your success. I'm not going to sit here and tell you if you're married to the wrong person, get a divorce. No, Dr. T is not going to tell you that. Not going to do that. But I will say this. If you are thinking about dating someone, if there's someone in your life that you feel they have these feelings for, and you're going in that direction, you want to ask yourself this vital question. Does this person fit into the scheme of things? And they'll let you know. Ask God. The Word of God tells you in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 to trust Him and to lean not unto your own understanding, but in all thy ways to acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Not only does He direct your path for your mission, He wants to direct your path for your relationships and your spouse selection. That is so important because how can two walk together unless they agree? He wants to connect you with someone, be it in friendship or even in marriage. Someone that's going to go with you. They're on the same trail. They're going to complement, that means complete you. They're going to help you complete the goals. And you're going to help them complete the goals that God has for your life. If they're not doing that, that's why a lot of marriages fail. That's why a lot of people are unhappy in their marriage. Not because they don't love each other. I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about complementing. I'm talking about goal setting. I'm talking about missions. I'm talking about purpose. We may marry someone that we're in love with, but you're just not gelling. You're just not flowing. Why? Because you're mismatched. Even in your friendship, you're mismatched. We all meet people that we care for and we like, but it doesn't mean that they're part of God's assignment for our lives. That doesn't mean that they are part of the assignment for our lives. When God takes them out of your life, it's going to be hurtful sometimes, but let them go because He knows what's best for you. So, number 14, we talk about the enemies that hinder us from reaching our goals, maximizing our potential, and dying empty. Number 14, wrong relationships. Number 15, well, we're wrapping up. Number 15, society's pressures. Society's pressures. So what does that mean, Dr. T? Pressure from society's standards and expectations. They can pose a threat to maximizing your potential. If the people we associate with, they make judgments about our age, our race, our financial status, education, and ancestry, this pressure will come to relinquish a dream because they're telling you because you're this age you can't do that, or because of you're this race and this race you'll never accomplish that, or because you're a woman you can't do that, or because of your lack of education in a particular area you'll never achieve that, and your ancestry because you're from this ethnic group you'll never amount to anything because you're in this ethnic group because you're this thing you're that way. Those are society pressures. A lot of times people succumb to those pressures because they believe the lie. That's what it is. It's a lie. So what? I'm 70 years old. Or so what? I'm 80 years old. As long as I have life, I can still move. I can still dream. I can still achieve. So what? I'm a black woman. Don't think because I'm a black woman I cannot achieve certain heights. I can do that. So what? That I may not be a wealthy millionaire, but it's not about how much money I have. It's about what I do with the money God has given me. Isn't that right? These are different things. So what? That I have the highest degree. What matters is what I took the education that I have, and I'm always learning. I'm still reading books. I'm still taking classes. I'm still going to seminars, webinars like this. I'm still growing. Don't allow society's pressures to hinder you from going forth and living out your dream, living out the mandate that God has put in your life. And many people get stuck there because they buy the lie. And I go back to what I said before. Who told you that? Who told you you cannot achieve because of your age, because of your race, because of your financial status, because of your education and your ancestry? Who told you that? Don't buy the lie. Don't be caught up in society's pressures. Don't do it. And then last but not least, number 16, if you keep God out of your plan, you will not succeed. If you keep God out of your plan, you cannot achieve anything. That's one of the first things I said when I started this message. If you get God, if you kick Him out, every day you should start your day checking in with your Heavenly Father, finding out what His plans are for you for that day. The Word of God tells us in Proverbs 19:21, He says, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that will prevail. It's the Lord's purpose. It's not about my purpose. When I pray, I tell God, I don't have a purpose. You do. I don't want my plan to prevail. I want your plan to prevail. And that's what we all should be confessing. If you take God out of the equation of whatever you're doing, it will never reach the apex. You'll never achieve the goal that God has called you. You might get so far, but I promise you, you'll never reach the top. Only He can reach the top for you. Only He can mandate that that top is yours. Do not leave God out of your plan. No matter if you even if you achieve all the other things I just shared, the other 15, if you don't do this one, you might as well just throw in the towel. Might as well just throw in the towel. Because without God, we can do nothing. But with God, we can do anything. There's nothing too hard for us when we believe in Him. And that's what I want to leave you with. So my name is Dr. T. I want to do a recap. I want to do a recap on the enemies again before I close out. The first one again is being disobedience. Number two is sin. Number three is fear. Number four is discouragement. Number five is procrastination. Number six is past failures. Number seven, opinion of others. Number eight, distractions. Number nine, success. 10, tradition. Number 11, the wrong environment. Number 12, comparison. 13 is compromising. 14, being in wrong relationships. 15, society's pressures. And 16, last but not least, keeping God out of your plans. Ladies and gentlemen, if you stay out of these arenas, stay out of these arenas, stay away from the enemies that hinder you from maximizing your potential. Stay out of these arenas that hinder you from dying empty. Then you'll be well on your way to discovering who you are, maximize your potential, and living your best life now. I'm Dr. T, and thank you so much for allowing me to share. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, really, for enriching us and empowering us. This is really helping us to maximize our potential. Thank you so much. And we are digesting it, continue to digest. And Tony, please unmute and share your thoughts.
Um, as always,
Yeah.
as Dr. T was going down her list, I could probably share a story for most, if not all, and struggles and things that have prevented me from utilizing a lot more than I have. And I appreciate you, Dr. T, because I plan to go down that list and strengthen and remove every distraction,
Mm,
um, by the power of God. Because that last one about never leaving God out of anything, I can testify many times that when I included God, things seemed to turn out just right. And I thank God for your leadership in your own
yeah.
uniqueness. And by the way, everyone, your own uniqueness does have membership, and we have you, teachings
Mm,
like what Dr. T has offered and others that she gives opportunity on the platform. And so I'm very appreciative that Dr. T does follow the leading of God. I can testify to that. I've known her for 20 years plus,
mm,
so I can testify to that. And God has used her to
mm,
minister and show people
mm,
how to walk in their greater purpose. So thank you, Dr. T, for always sharing those wonderful nuggets that
mm,
God gives you to share with us. And I'm
mm.
very appreciative of your
Okay,
obedience to Him.
okay, Tony, someone put in the chat that they wanted to know how to get my books. Could you put the link on how to order my books in the chat? If that's okay, Mabel, can Tony do that? Put the link,
Yes,
or somebody put the link.
definitely. Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
I will do
anyone,
so.
yeah, if you could put that in the link, how to order my books.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
In fact, if you have the post, even of today, you can see the four books, and in the little uh, picture where all the four books are, it has your HTTP where to buy the
Mm-hmm.
books.
Mm-hmm.
S- So that's a permanent place.
Mm-hmm.
Tin Man, Tin Man, Tin Man with a
Uh,
heart.
there we go. Yes, Tin Man with a Heart. Um, thank you, Dr. T. I
Mm,
never like to reiterate what the person has just said, but I would just say for myself, I'm constantly working on all of these points that you brought to us today. And I would like to say one thing about myself is, as we were speaking a little earlier, I'm down the road in life a bit now, and the thing is that I never stop to work on maximizing my potential and in order to die empty. And I'm doing it right now. Like I say, I'm very busy. I'm mainly an actor. I'm an artist. I'm more things as far as art goes than acting, but that is my main focus.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished doing another play, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
already started on another play that's definitely going to be produced, and I'll be doing that, and that'll be a little while from now, but still, it's going to be produced. And another play that I'm doing, what they call stage readings, which is that means the play is trying to get the potential to have a full production. So, like I say, I never stop, and I'm always trying to grow. And I'm always trying to move forward with those things in my life that I consider that will help me to die empty, because I'm nowhere near finished. People talk about retirement, or getting to a point in their life where they're finished. Well, unless something's physically keeping you from doing things, I'm not finished at all. And so
There
I'm
you
I'm
go.
working very hard at that to achieve a lot of these things that you were
Mm.
speaking of today. Just wanted to say that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. And you are a perfect example of everything I just shared in terms of the good stuff. You're in there. You're not letting age or anything hinder you from this. Go continue to go forth. Bravo. Bravo, John. Bravo. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else want to share how the 16 points and more is touching us, convicting us, empowering us? Anything else? And I think I don't know how you could come up with all these points and speaking with conviction and so much truth in it. Uh, all very simple points, but right straight into our hearts and soul, to convict us. I think the environment is important, and how I think it's also a wake up call for us to to know what is distraction. I think all of us can get distracted, even
Mhm.
distracted by good causes, but actually it's not good in the pursuit of our goals and our dreams that God has given us. So that is really a wake up call. Toxic relationship, health. It is true if you are unwell. How are you going to pursue your dream, your goals? You know, and sometimes I I I have this feeling is that when we are born, Dr. T, when we live and we are born in a peaceful environment, God has a purpose for us.
Mhm.
And that is particularly to fulfill what He has for us. Because can you imagine? I'm always thinking, can you imagine if you are in a war-torn country?
Mm, mm,
You really cannot pursue your dream.
mm. No,
You're looking
no.
for shelter, you're looking for to hide out, and you're looking for food and water. So we are blessed to be a blessing. We are
Yes,
blessed
we are.
to magnify, to be glorious to Him. And so while we are given the blessing, we need to work out the best that God has given us and be a blessing to society. So that's why, of course, that's why we flow with Mr. Ash Mufara. I always remember why I joined, uh, uh, you know, why I follow this man is that in his introductional video to all of us about what he wanting to is that here we're here to bless one another. You can get what you want, go ahead and fulfill your life. But when all is done, when you're fulfilled, will you help somebody else? That is his underlying his mission. You have what you want, please help others. So this is then we know where his heart is. So and many more, and let me come on and off. But now is Mudu from Nigeria. Would you like to unmute?
Thank you so much, Mabel. Thank you so much, Dr. T.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much. I'm so blessed to be here, and I'm
Mm,
so glad that I just saw the post by Big John, Big Brother John, that he posted, and I just quickly, how are you, John? That he posted, I quickly joined. So, what I would say, I really don't know how to start it, but I want to make it very short. Number 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 10, number 11, and number 14 played a big role in the opposite way in my own life. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. And you just ask yourself, or sometimes I ask myself, if these three that I just mentioned are not, I'm not in it, things would have been better. But one way or the other, because I am a strict follower of Christ, and sometimes some things will restrict you, you are not able to do certain things, especially based on these three that I'm talking about. I've been able I've been able in a way to get out of these three. I've been able in a way, to get out of these three. I just thank God that I'm able and willing to move and to leave wrong things behind. Because sometimes when God does things for us, because we do not know what lies ahead, sometimes the fear of the unknown, the fear of, oh, how will this happen if I leave this environment? Whereas God has placed something beautiful at the other side for you, the fear of the unknown, just as you said. So if we believe in Christ, we should be able to follow and align to his will. God, what do you have for me? I do not want to do what I know or what I want to do. I want to align to your will for my own life, because the will for myself is different from the will for the other. So also I just thank God for being a part. And I
mm,
would love to have this one especially so I can use it to impact others, as I am an evangelist. So I would like to use it to impact others while, it's just sinking in as I was just going. I'm just liking it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you greatly. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, I wanted to share this with you guys. Uh, I've always told you that Mr. Dr. Miles Monroe is my mentor. Okay, and a lot of the teachings, well, many of the teachings that I teach you all comes from his books and his training. I had a chance to meet this phenomenal man years before he died, and it was just an awesome experience. And the information that you can find is in his book. It's entitled Dr. Miles Monroe. It's called Maximizing Your Potential: The Keys to Dying Empty. I can put that in the chat. It's called Maximizing Your Potential: The Keys to Dying Empty. He has so much material in this book. So if you want to find out what I just taught you and more, buy
mm,
his book from Dr. Miles Monroe.
mhm, mhm.
Maximizing Your Potential: The Keys to Dying Empty. Phenomenal book, phenomenal man. This man truly died empty. Truly died empty. Just before too early, I think, but I truly know he died empty. He lost his life. He and his wife, they died together. I don't know if you all
Wow.
knew that, but
I,
they were.
I know. I'll go
Yeah,
for it. Thank you, Dr. T.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
yes.
you.
fantastic. I mean, how you are digesting it and and internalizing it. Thank you for sharing your life with us, Dr. T.
Thank you.
Mm, yeah,
I think the world of all of you. I really do. Tony, I tell you, I think the world of what you're doing. You are a wonderful group of people. I just love you guys, and I look forward to speaking. And I look forward to
mm,
seeing you. I look forward to our maybe when we do our little texting. I look forward to all that. I look forward to all that. So
yeah,
thank
yeah,
you so
yeah,
much for allowing
yeah,
me to be a part of your
yeah,
group. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. I really just want to go back. There's so much in that distraction. even if it is family problems. You think you need to get in the middle of it to solve all the problem, but that
Mm-hmm.
might really take you away from what God is calling you. So this is really something we need to. We don't have to get. We don't have to solve everyone's problem.
Right.
Like what you said, they sometimes they put themselves in it. I think to be focused and to follow. I don't know anybody else who has anything to say, but I I want to agree with you that if you keep God out of your plan, you will not succeed at the level that God has for you, because we are but feeble men. We
Mm-hmm.
don't even know what 5 minutes ahead of us is happening, or that's round the
Mm-hmm.
corner. We are so feeble and short sighted. It is God who planned our path and plan our progress. And not only plan, He bless us. We need His blessing and His
Mm-hmm.
favor to excel.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Dr. T, for blessing us, for giving your precious time to us, to teach us, to coach us, empower us. We really appreciate you. Words cannot
Thank you.
express, enough what you are doing to us. And
Oh, thank
I
you.
pray that this video will go far and wide to everyone, that the Lord will bring this video to anyone who need to hear this message of maximizing our potential to reach our goal, to reach what He has for us. Anybody else who have anything to say? Jeannie, how do you want? Do you have anything to
Uh,
impact us?
yes, I have. I think there are few new visitor today. So I
Yeah.
have put the link to our Old Passion Singapore
Mm.
chat
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
join. So for those of you who wants to join, it's in the chat in the chat. I posted
Okay.
it in the chat.
It's
So
in the
please click
chat.
the link and join us, and you will be further updated on
Yeah.
what's going on in our meetings and when's the next coming
Yeah.
meeting and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tony has also put in the chat how to get the books, the
Yes.
website to purchase the books. Some of you
Yes.
asked. So
Uh,
that's
and Pastor Tony, maybe you'd like to add in the book that Dr. Tunishai mentioned.
Okay, will
Yeah.
do.
Thank you. Thank you.
okay, I took a
Yeah.
picture.
Uh,
Dr. Miles. Okay.
so Dr. Tunishai, I'd like to thank you. You really, really empower us.
Mm.
Yeah, your part one was great, and your part two, wow. Thank you so much.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
Is
you.
Nailed it.
is Sister Julie, what's her name already? Julie, is it? The one who connected all of us?
Debbie.
Yeah.
Ah, Debbie. If Sister Debbie is
Debbie.
here, she will say you nailed it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. T, you
All is
help
well.
us
Thank
to
you.
close the night? Would you help us to close the night?
Okay. Thank you so much. Um, hey, maximizing your potential. The
Mm,
keys to dying empty. Yes, that's our thrust. If we don't realize that we should be purpose driven, then why are we taking up space? Remember the definition that God gave me a definition of purpose, and I say it all the time. And you might want to memorize this or write it down somewhere. But
mm,
purpose is a divine and deliberate mandate from God that glorifies Him, justifies your existence, and it serves mankind. Remember, it's a mandate. It's a mandate. And this mandate should glorify Him. It's going to justify why were you born? Why are you taking up space on this earth? And then lastly, it's going to serve mankind. Whatever God has put in you to do is never just for you. It's not just for you. It's to capitalize on enriching the world. I give the example of a big picture puzzle. I mean, I don't know if you're all familiar with that, but this picture a big picture puzzle, and it has like 150 pieces, and you are a piece of that puzzle. And that puzzle is God's vision for the world. God's vision for the world, and you are one of the pieces of the puzzle. And you make a decision not to do what God has called you to do. Have you ever seen a person put together a puzzle and the piece is missing? How frustrating that is? Just imagine how God feels when He has this wonderful vision of the world and He's giving you a piece, just one piece to play, and you decide you don't want to do it. But whatever the reasons may be, where are these enemies that I mentioned, and you make up in your mind that you don't want to play that part. That's what the puzzle looks like, all these empty pieces. And right now, I dare to say there are a lot of empty pieces in this vision that God has for us. And I hate to say that, but don't let that be your problem. Don't you become guilty of that. Make sure that the piece that he's giving you, that you put your place right in that puzzle place where you fit in and do what God has called you to do. When you do that, you'll be a fulfilled and happy, purpose driven person. And God will bless you. And when it's time for you to leave here, you're going to hear those wondrous words. Well done, my good and my faithful servant. Enter in. And that's what I want to hear. And that's what you all want to hear. God
Yes.
bless.
Yes. That's what God want to hear. That's what we need to declare. Thank you everyone for this wonderful Thursday, 13th of November, where we get to hear the full 16 points and more. You know, there was another three, four more earlier. 16 points to maximize our potential. So thank you, Dr. T,
Thank you.
for empowering us and coaching us. Good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone. God bless you, and we see you again
Thank you.
another Thursday. Thank you, Dr. T. We wish you a very, very good day
Good
and a
night,
week ahead,
everyone.
a
And you too.
wonderful
Good night.
weekend, and a
Good night
wonderful
to
week
all.
ahead. Enjoy
Good night.
yourself. God
Good
bless you
night.
in every way.
Thank you,
God bless
Good
everyone.
night.
you.
Thank
Bye,
Good
you.
night,
bye,
everyone.
bye,
Good night.
everybody.
God bless
Goodbye.
Everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
See you.
Good
Bye,
evening.
John.
Bye, everyone. God bless
Thank
you.
Pleasant
you,
evening.
Bye, bye.
Pastor
Good night,
Tony.
all.
Bye
Nice
bye.
meeting you
Good
here
Bye,
night,
Bye bye,
all.
again.
everyone.
Motuli.
Yeah.